Welcome to Moonlit Storykeeper. If quiet journeys like this help you relax, you're warmly invited to subscribe and return for a new story each week. Tonight, we are travelling through a sleeping winter town towards a greenhouse that opens only after midnight. Settle in, let the day grow quiet, and simply listen. Tonight, winter has made the world very still. Not empty and not silent, but still in the particular way that comes after a day of soft snow. The roads have lost their sharp edges. Garden walls have become low white lines. Every roof in the little town carries a smooth and undisturbed covering, and the chimneys release their smoke slowly, as though even the fires have grown sleepy. You are staying in a room beneath the eaves of an old guest house. The ceiling slopes above the bed, and a small round window looks out across the town. Earlier, the owner brought you a stone bottle filled with hot water and placed it beneath the blankets. Its warmth remains near your feet, steady and comforting. The journey here was not difficult, only long. A train carried you through pale fields for most of the afternoon. You watched fences appear and disappear beneath the snow and saw distant farmhouses gathering the early evening around their windows. By the time you arrived, the station lamps were already glowing. Now the town is asleep. From your window, you can see the narrow street curving towards a square. There is a bakery with striped curtains, a tailor's shop with 3 wooden spools displayed behind the glass, and a fountain that has been covered with boards for the winter. A single lantern hangs above the guest house door, drawing a circle of gold upon the snow. You have been resting for some time. Perhaps you slept for a few minutes. Perhaps you simply lay with your eyes closed and listened to the building settle around you. Somewhere in the wall, an old pipe cooled with a gentle knock. Beneath you, a floorboard gave a quiet sigh. Then everything became still again. When you open your eyes, moonlight is resting on the windowsill. You turn your head and notice something beyond the roofs. At the far edge of town, where the last houses meet a low wooded hill, a warm green light is shining. It is too steady to be a lantern and too low to be a star. For a moment you think it may come from a house hidden among the trees. Yet you remember the view from the train. There were no houses on that hill. The light brightens, then softens as though someone has drawn a curtain across it. You sit up beneath the heavy quilt. On the bedside table lies a folded card you found inside the guest house register. You noticed it earlier but did not read it closely. The paper is thick and faintly green, with a small illustration pressed into one corner. A glass roof beneath 3 stars. There are only 2 lines of writing. When the coldest night feels too long, follow the warm glass. The door is never locked after midnight. You read the words once more. Nothing in them feels urgent. The card does not ask you to hurry. The green light beyond the town waits without flickering, and the room will remain warm until you return. So you dress slowly. You pull on woolen socks, your boots, and the dark coat that has been drying beside the little iron stove. You wrap a scarf around your neck and place the card in your pocket. Before leaving, you turn down the lamp. The guest house stairs curve gently beneath your feet. In the entrance hall, a clock ticks inside a tall wooden case. The owner has left a small tray near the door with a flask of warm tea and a note that says, "For late travellers." You pour a little into the lid of the flask. It tastes of apple peel and cinnamon. Then you open the door and step into the winter night. The cold air is clean and calm. It touches your cheeks, but does not bite. No wind moves along the street. Above the roofs, the moon is nearly full, pale and clear inside a wide ring of winter haze. Your breath rises before you in small silver clouds and disappears. You follow the road towards the square. The snow makes each footstep sound softer than the last. Behind the bakery, sacks of flour are stacked beneath an awning. A bicycle leans against the tailor's wall, its handlebars wearing 2 neat caps of snow. Near the covered fountain, someone has left a basket filled with logs for any neighbour who might need them before morning. The town seems arranged for kindness even while no one is awake to see it. Beyond the square, the street narrows between stone cottages. Their garden gates are closed, and bare climbing roses make delicate shadows upon the walls. In one upstairs window, a cat sits behind the curtain, watching you pass. It blinks once, slowly, then turns back towards the warmth of the room. At the last cottage, the road ends. A footpath continues across a white field. The green light is clearer now. It comes from behind a line of dark trees at the base of the hill. You can make out the faint shape of a long glass roof, although you are certain it was not visible during the day. The path has already been cleared. Snow lies deep on either side, but the centre is a ribbon of dark earth scattered with pale gravel. Here and there, small glass markers rise from the ground. Each one contains a tiny bead of amber light. They lead away from the town, one after another, towards the trees. You walk at an easy pace. The field holds the quiet marks of night. A bird has crossed the snow in quick, careful steps. The narrow trail of a fox curves towards a hedge and vanishes beneath it. From somewhere under the white covering comes the delicate sound of water moving through a ditch. Halfway across the field, you stop and look back. The town rests inside a bowl of moonlight. Its windows are dark, its chimneys quiet. Your room beneath the eaves is only a small shape among many roofs, yet you can imagine the stone bottle waiting beneath the quilt and the bedside lamp turned low. It is pleasant to know that you have somewhere to return to. You continue until the path enters the trees. The branches overhead are bare, but they hold thousands of fine crystals. Moonlight touches them whenever you move, so that the whole wood seems to brighten one branch at a time. The glass markers become more frequent. Some are green, some gold, and one glows with the soft pink of a shell. The air changes. Beneath the clean scent of snow and bark, you notice damp earth, then moss, then something unexpected and sweet, the fragrance of orange blossom. Around the next bend stands an iron gate. It is tall but simple, made from narrow dark bars. At its centre is the same image that appeared on the card, a glass roof beneath 3 stars. The gate is already open. Beyond it, the path crosses a garden hidden under snow. Low hedges form circles and half-moons around empty beds. Stone benches wear thick white cushions. In the centre of the garden, rising from the ground like a palace made for moonlight, is the greenhouse. It is larger than it appeared from the town. One long glass hall stretches across the garden, joined to round houses, narrow corridors and high domes. Iron ribs curve beneath hundreds of panes. Some are clear, some misted, and some coloured faintly blue or green. Warm light moves behind them through leaves of many shapes. Snow rests upon the roof but does not melt. Instead, each flake seems to become transparent when it touches the glass, joining the building for a moment before sliding silently away. At the entrance, a brass lamp burns above a pair of green doors. You climb the shallow steps. Before you can knock, the right-hand door opens. Warm, fragrant air reaches you like a welcome. Inside is a small tiled vestibule. Water drips gently from the edges of your boots. Hooks line one wall, holding coats in many sizes and colours. Beneath them stands a row of slippers, each pair clean and neatly arranged. A wooden sign asks visitors to leave winter by the door. You remove your coat and scarf. The nearest pair of slippers fits perfectly. Beyond the vestibule is a round room with a glass ceiling. Vines climb the iron supports, their leaves dark and glossy. A stove stands in the centre, glowing behind a little window. Around it are 4 chairs, a kettle, and a circular table covered with seed catalogues. A woman is writing at a desk beneath a hanging lamp. She has grey hair gathered into a loose braid and wears a long green cardigan with soil on one sleeve. A pencil rests behind her ear. Beside her lies an open register whose pages are divided into columns for temperature, weather, visitors, and things returned to the earth. She finishes writing before she looks up. "You found the warm glass," she says. Her voice is low and unhurried. It seems entirely natural that you should arrive after midnight, carrying a card you found in a guest house register. You show it to her. She smiles and turns the card over. On the back, which you believed was blank, a fine line of green ink has appeared. It resembles the stem of a new plant. "The house leaves those where they may be useful," she says. "Usually in books, coat pockets, and places where people are waiting longer than they expected." She introduces herself as Iona, the winter keeper. "There are other keepers," she explains, "but they follow the seasons. One travels north with the spring bulbs. Another spends summer repairing shade cloth and collecting thunderwater. A third walks through orchards in autumn, recording the names people give to the smell of fallen leaves." "And in winter, you ask?" Iona closes the register. "In winter, the greenhouse rests," she says. "Rest requires looking after." She invites you to sit beside the stove. The kettle is already warm. Iona pours water into a blue cup containing a slice of dried pear and several leaves that smell faintly of mint. The drink is light and soothing. You hold it between your hands while warmth returns slowly to your fingers. On the table, the seed catalogues are filled with handwritten notes. Some describe familiar plants. Others have names you have never heard. Evening bells, hearth moss, traveller's thyme, the pale fern of the northern windows. Small drawings show roots curling around stones and flowers folding themselves into stars. You ask whether the greenhouse grows rare plants. "Some are rare," Iona says. "Some are common but have been overlooked, and some have not decided what they are yet." She opens a shallow drawer in the table. Inside, paper packets are arranged in careful rows. Most have labels, but one is completely blank. Iona lifts it and places it in your palm. Something small shifts within. "A seed without a name," she says. "They arrive now and then." You ask what it will become. "That depends on where it is planted, what weather it hears, and whether anyone expects too much from it." She returns the packet to the drawer. The answer seems to belong to more than gardening, but Iona does not explain it. Instead, she stands, takes a brass lantern from a hook, and turns its wick until a gentle amber light fills the glass. "The house is awake," she says. "Would you like to walk through it?" You finish the last of your tea. Beyond the round room, a pair of glass doors opens onto a long green path. The first hall is warmer than the entrance room. Moisture pearls upon the glass overhead. Beneath it, rows of orange and lemon trees grow in enormous clay pots. Their branches are heavy with dark leaves, pale blossoms, and fruit at many stages of ripening. The air carries a soft mixture of citrus peel, wet stone, and warm soil. The trees appear to be sleeping. Their leaves hang loosely. Several branches rest upon padded wooden supports. Each pot is wrapped in a woolen band, and small copper labels show the name of the tree, the place it came from, and the winter it first arrived. Iona lowers her lantern. "They prefer dim light at this hour," she says. You follow her between the rows. The path is made from flat bricks that retain the day's warmth. Water moves through narrow channels beside them. It makes no more sound than someone pouring tea in a distant room. One tree is no taller than your shoulder. Its branches hold 7 small oranges, each the colour of a late sunset. A card tied to the trunk reads, "Carried from a courtyard that no longer receives the sun." Another tree has been trained along an iron arch. Its lemons are long and pale, almost silver beneath the moonlight. The glass above it has been left clear, allowing the tree to see the winter sky. "Do plants dream?" you ask. Iona considers this as she adjusts a support beneath a branch. "Not as we do," she says, "but roots remember water. Stems turn towards light they cannot yet see. Seeds wait through years of darkness without forgetting how to open. That seems close enough to dreaming for me." At the centre of the hall stands a wooden table. Upon it are bowls filled with fallen leaves, pieces of bark, and fruit too ripe to remain on the branches. Nothing is discarded. Iona explains that the peel will be dried for tea, the leaves returned to the soil, and the seeds washed and kept in a cool cabinet until spring. She chooses a small mandarin and rolls it gently beneath her palm. The skin releases a bright, clean fragrance. With a little knife, she cuts the fruit into 2 equal halves and gives one to you. It is sweeter than you expect, but not sharply so. The flavour seems softened by the quiet of the room. You eat it beside the sleeping trees. The simple act brings back no single memory, but many small ones. Winter tables, bowls of fruit, hands removing peel in one long spiral, the scent remaining on a sleeve for the rest of the day. At the far end, the citrus hall narrows beneath an arch of leaves. One orange tree has grown across the doorway. Iona touches its lowest branch, and the leaves lift just enough for you to pass beneath. On the other side, the sound of rain is waiting. You enter a wide chamber beneath a high glass dome. Rain falls inside it. Not a storm, and not the cold rain of the winter road. This is a warm, patient rain, descending in fine silver lines from somewhere near the roof. It touches leaves, stones, and shallow pools with 1,000 quiet sounds. The path remains dry beneath a covered walkway. Ferns rise on either side, some small enough to fit inside a cup, others spreading above your head like green umbrellas. Moss covers fallen logs. Broad leaves collect water until each drop grows heavy enough to roll towards the ground. Iona hangs the lantern on a post. "This room keeps rains that arrived at the wrong time," she says. She shows you a row of glass gauges fixed to the wall. Each contains a different kind of water. One is clear as window glass. One carries a trace of red dust. Another is clouded with yellow pollen. Small labels record where the rain was meant to fall. A garden waiting through a dry April. A hill of young grass after the sheep had moved on. A city courtyard where someone placed empty bowls beneath the sky. An orchard whose blossoms opened 1 week too early. "Can you send it back?" you ask. "Not to the same hour," Iona says. "Hours close behind us, but water is patient. It will find another route." She opens a narrow valve beside the path. The rain changes. For several moments, larger drops fall upon the dome. Their rhythm is slow and rounded, like rain heard from a bed beneath a tiled roof. Then the sound becomes finer again, moving outward across the leaves. You stand and listen. There is no need to separate one drop from another. The room gathers every small sound into a single gentle surface. Your breathing finds its place beneath it. Your shoulders settle a little farther from your ears. Near the centre of the chamber is a pond no wider than a dining table. Round leaves float upon it, though none carry flowers. Beneath the water, tiny lights move slowly between the stems. They may be reflections from the roof, or small creatures, or something the greenhouse has chosen not to name. Iona kneels beside the pond and places her fingertips on the surface. The lights gather near her hand, then drift apart. She explains that the water has travelled through the greenhouse for many years. It has risen as mist, rested on the glass, fallen through the fern room, and passed beneath the citrus trees. No one knows how many times it has made the journey. "It never seems tired of returning," she says. At the far side, a bench stands beneath the covered walkway. A folded blanket has been left there. You sit for a while with the blanket across your knees and watch the rain silver the air. Nothing changes quickly. A leaf fills, bends, and empties. A curl of ferns slowly loosens. The little lights beneath the pond cross from one shadow to another. You begin to understand that the greenhouse is not displaying its wonders for you. These rooms would continue without a visitor. The rain would fall, the roots would drink, the fruit would sweeten in darkness. You have simply been allowed to rest beside them. When you are ready, Iona lifts the lantern from its post. A narrow door behind the ferns leads into a room that smells of cedar and paper. The next room is cool and dry. Wooden cabinets cover every wall from floor to ceiling. Each cabinet contains dozens of shallow drawers, and each drawer bears a small brass handle. A rolling ladder rests against a rail. Lamps with green shades cast pools of light across a long central table. This is where the greenhouse keeps its seeds. Some are stored in folded paper packets. Others rest inside glass jars, cotton-lined boxes, or envelopes made from pressed leaves. There are seeds as fine as dust and seeds larger than stones. One jar holds flat silver discs. Another contains small black spirals. Iona opens a drawer marked "Seeds Awaiting Weather." Inside are packets labelled with conditions rather than names. After 3 nights of sea fog, beneath the first warm rain, when a window is opened after a long winter, beside a path that is no longer needed. You read them slowly. "How do you know when the time has come?" you ask. "We do not always know," Iona replies, "so we pay attention." She moves to another cabinet. This one contains seeds found in coat hems, old boxes, letters, and the corners of abandoned sheds. Most arrived without instructions. The keepers planted a few in different soils, but many remain asleep, carrying their possibilities without inconvenience. Iona takes out the blank packet you saw earlier. Perhaps it is the same packet. Perhaps the greenhouse has many like it. She places it upon the green felt, covering the table, and opens the top. A single seed rolls into her palm. It is small, smooth and grey with one fine golden line along its side. "Would you like to hold it?" she asks. The seed is lighter than you expect. For something that might contain roots, leaves, bark, flowers, or fruit, it asks almost nothing of your hand. It does not reveal what it plans to become. It is complete without being finished. Iona shows you a ledger filled with planting records. Many entries contain careful descriptions. Some end with questions. One reads, "Produced 3 blue leaves and then chose to remain small." Another says, "Flowered once during a thunderstorm. Fragrance similar to clean linen." A third simply records, "Still deciding." There is no disappointment in these notes. The greenhouse does not seem to measure every seed by how large it grows or how quickly it opens. Some are valued because they wait, some because they feed the soil, some because their roots hold one quiet corner together. Iona places the unnamed seed inside a tiny clay dish. "There is an empty bed in the night garden," she says. "Before dawn, you may plant it there, if you wish." You ask whether you might harm it by choosing the wrong place. "There are places that make growth difficult," she says, "but the wrong place is often only a place that teaches us to move something gently." She closes the packet and leaves the seed in the dish. For now, there is no decision to make. You continue through the cabinet room. Iona opens drawers containing the scents of dry grass and spice. She shows you beans patterned like little maps, grass seeds with tails that curl in damp weather, and one empty box reserved for a plant that appears only in stories. At the final cabinet, the wooden wall gives way to glass. Beyond it is a garden beneath the stars. The night garden occupies the largest house in the greenhouse. Its roof rises into a many-sided dome, so clear that the iron frame seems to hold the sky itself. Stars shine above the glass. The moon has moved westward and now rests near the dark line of the hill. Below it, flowers are opening. They grow in curved beds separated by paths of pale stone. Some blossoms are white, some deep blue, and some almost colourless until the lantern passes near them. Their petals unfold slowly, without sound, revealing centres that catch the starlight. The air is fragrant but not heavy. You notice vanilla, damp leaves, a trace of honey, and the cool scent that rises from a garden after evening water. Each fragrance appears for a moment and then makes room for another. Iona walks without the lantern now. Small lamps are hidden among the plants, shaded so that their light falls only upon the paths. The flowers remain turned towards the darkness above. "Most gardens are visited during the day," she says. "These plants prefer an audience that does not ask them to be bright." Near the entrance, tall stems hold bells the colour of moonlit milk. Farther on, a low plant spreads hundreds of tiny blue flowers across the ground. They resemble a piece of the night sky that has chosen to rest beneath your feet. A vine climbs the central iron column. Its buds open one after another as you approach. Each flower lasts only a few minutes. It releases a faint scent of warm bread, folds its petals, and is followed by the next. You ask whether it is sad for a flower to last such a short time. Iona looks up at the vine. "It may not experience the evening as short," she says. "A flower has no clock except opening and closing." You continue deeper into the garden. Moths move between the beds, pale and quiet. Their wings carry patterns like bark, frost, and old lace. They settle on leaves so gently that the leaves barely bend. At the centre stands a circular basin filled with dark water. The surface reflects the dome, the stars, and the slow silhouettes of leaves. No fountain disturbs it. A stone seat curves around one side, warmed from beneath by hidden pipes. You sit. For a while, Iona says nothing. The greenhouse breathes around you. Glass contracts softly in the winter cold. Water moves somewhere below the stones. A moth touches the basin and lifts away, leaving one ring that widens across the reflected sky. You think of the day behind you, the train, the station, the guest house, the things you may have carried in your thoughts without noticing their weight. Here, none of them need to be solved. They can rest beside you without requiring your attention. Across the basin is a small bed of dark soil. Unlike the others, it contains no plants. A smooth stone marks its centre. The stone bears no name, only a shallow golden line like the one on the seed. Iona notices you looking at it. That is the empty bed, she says. There is still time before dawn. She suggests that the seed may first wish to hear the greenhouse more fully. So you leave the bed untouched and follow her towards a low brick building attached to the far side of the dome. Light glows beneath its door. Inside, a fire is burning. The potting room is smaller than the great glass houses. Its walls are brick, and its ceiling is crossed by dark wooden beams. Shelves hold clay pots, watering cans, lengths of twine, and tools worn smooth by many hands. Bundles of herbs hang from hooks above a broad work table. At the end of the room is a fireplace. The flames are low and steady. A kettle rests on a black iron arm beside them. 2 deep chairs face the hearth with a basket of folded blankets between them. Iona adds 1 piece of wood to the fire. It settles with a quiet crack, releasing the scent of cedar. You sit in the nearest chair. The cushions are soft but supportive, shaped by years of winter keepers resting there between their rounds. Iona places the little clay dish containing the unnamed seed on the table beside you. She prepares another drink. This one is made from roasted barley, orange peel, and a spoonful of dark honey. Its warmth moves through you slowly. Outside the small windows, snow lies against the greenhouse walls, blue beneath the moon. For several minutes, the only sounds are the kettle and the fire. The greenhouse seems far larger now that you are sitting still. Somewhere beyond the brick wall, rain continues to fall among the ferns. The citrus trees rest with their fruit. Night flowers open and close beneath the dome. In the cabinet room, thousands of seeds wait without impatience. Iona takes a cracked pot from a shelf. Instead of discarding it, she fits the pieces together with a narrow band of wire. The repair does not hide the crack. It simply allows the pot to hold soil again. This room receives most things after they break, she says. Pots, tools, labels, sometimes keepers. You ask whether the greenhouse repairs people as well. Iona smiles but keeps her attention on the wire. People are not pots, she says. Usually they need warmth, time, and somewhere they are not expected to perform being well. She places the repaired pot on the shelf. Near the fire is a stack of notebooks left by visitors. You open one at random. Its pages do not contain grand confessions. Someone has drawn the shape of a fern. Someone else recorded the sound of rain in different rooms. A third visitor wrote only, "I slept in the chair until morning and no one woke me." You close the notebook. The fire has become quieter. A piece of ash folds inward, glowing briefly at the edge before turning grey. Your body feels pleasantly heavy now. The walk through the snow, the warmth of the greenhouse, and the soft repetition of water have gathered together like blankets. Iona does not hurry you. She works at the table sorting plant labels into wooden boxes. Some labels are blank, others carry names in fading ink. When she finds one that can no longer be read, she does not throw it away. She places it in a box marked, "Names that may return." At last, she looks towards the small window. The sky beyond it is still dark, but the darkness has softened at its lower edge. "The garden will soon begin listening for morning," she says. You look at the seed in its clay dish. It is time to choose, though the choice still feels gentle. You carry the clay dish back into the night garden. The stone path is warm beneath your slippers. Many of the flowers have begun to close. Their petals fold inward with the same patience with which they opened. The moths rest beneath leaves, becoming small, pale shadows. The empty bed waits across the dark basin. Iona brings a hand trowel, a cup of rainwater, and a little bowl of soil gathered from different rooms. There is dark earth from beneath the citrus trees, fine leaf mould from the fern house, and a pinch of pale sand kept near the warmest wall. She mixes them with her fingers. "A little memory of several places," she says. You kneel beside the empty bed. The soil is warmer than the night air. It gives easily beneath the trowel. You make a small hollow, no deeper than the first joint of your finger. The seed rests in your palm. Its golden line catches the final moonlight. You do not ask it to become a tree, a flower, or anything useful. You do not imagine how tall it might grow or what colour it may one day offer the room. You simply place it in the hollow and draw the soil gently over it. Iona gives you the cup. The rainwater is clear and faintly warm. You pour only enough to darken the earth. Nothing happens. No shoot rises, no hidden light appears. The soil remains still beneath the glass dome. And this feels right. Beginnings are often invisible. A seed may open first where no one can see it. A root may choose a direction in darkness. The earliest work may be quiet enough to resemble rest. Iona places the smooth marker back in the center of the bed. She does not write a name upon it. "Will I ever know what grows here?" you ask. "Perhaps," she says, "but the seed does not need to become a message for you. It may simply become itself." You stand and brush the soil from your hands. The eastern side of the glass roof has begun to change. The stars remain visible, but the sky behind them is turning from black to deep blue. Along the iron ribs, beads of water catch the first suggestion of morning. As you walk back through the garden, one final flower opens near the path. It is small and green, almost hidden among its leaves. Its fragrance is no stronger than fresh grass. Iona pauses beside it as though greeting an old friend. "That one opens only when the night is nearly over," she says. You look back at the empty bed. It no longer seems empty. It seems spacious. Morning moves through the greenhouse room by room. In the night garden, the hidden lamps dim. Flowers close, moths settle, and the dark basin releases its reflection of the stars. The glass above becomes pale enough to show each drop of moisture along its surface. In the cabinet room, small vents open near the ceiling. Cool air passes across the drawers of seeds. Paper packets stir with a sound like distant pages turning. Iona checks the latch on one cabinet and records the unnamed seed in her ledger. Under name, she leaves the line blank. Underplace, she writes, a bed left open beneath the winter stars. In the rain room, the falling water becomes finer and then stops. Drops continue to travel from leaf to leaf. The pond lies smooth beneath the dome, holding the grey-blue light of early morning. The citrus hall wakes slowly. Leaves lift towards the glass. A branch creaks against its padded support. Somewhere among the trees, a single blossom releases a fresh breath of fragrance. Iona collects 2 fallen leaves and turns one of the clay pots a few inches towards the east. At the entrance room, the stove is still warm. Your coat and scarf wait on their hooks, dry and ready. The boots beneath them no longer carry any snow. Iona returns the green card to you. The fine stem on its back now has 2 tiny leaves. Will the greenhouse be here during the day? You ask. It will be here, she says, but not always where it can be found. She opens the winter register. Beside the date, she writes the temperature, the condition of the glass, and the hour at which the first flower closed. In the column marked visitors, she does not write your name. She draws a small circle, like a seed viewed from above. You put on your coat. The vestibule feels cooler now, though not unpleasantly so. You exchange the slippers for your boots and wrap the scarf around your neck. Before you leave, Iona hands you a small paper packet. It contains no seed. Instead, she has filled it with dried orange peel from the sleeping citrus hall. She suggests placing 1 piece in hot water on a winter evening. Not everything needs planting, she says. You thank her for the walk, the tea, and the place left open in the garden. Iona lifts one hand in farewell. Behind her, the greenhouse extends through glass doors and green corridors, holding rain, roots, fruit, and thousands of quiet possibilities. The entrance doors close gently after you step outside. The garden beyond the greenhouse is blue with morning. Snow still covers the beds and benches, untouched except for your earlier footprints. The sky above the hill is pale now, and the moon has become a faint white shape behind the trees. You descend the steps. When you reach the iron gate, you look back. The greenhouse remains visible. Its windows glow softly, though the green light has faded. The long roofs, round houses, and high domes rest beneath their covering of snow. A branch moves across your view. For a moment, the building is hidden. When the branch lifts, there is only a winter garden at the edge of the trees. Low hedges curve around empty beds. A stone wall catches the morning light. Where the greenhouse stood, frost shines upon the grass. You are not surprised. The glass markers along the path have gone dark, but the way across the field is easy to follow. Your footprints lead towards the town, each one softened slightly by new snow. The first chimney has begun to smoke. As you approach the cottages, a kitchen light appears behind a curtain. Someone opens a door to bring in a basket of logs. The cat in the upstairs window has left its place, perhaps in search of breakfast. At the square, the town clock prepares to strike 6. You hear the mechanism gather itself inside the tower. Then the first note crosses the roofs, rounded by the snow. You count without effort, letting each sound fade before the next arrives. The bakery remains closed, but warm air touches the inside of its windows. Soon the striped curtains will be opened. Bread will be placed on wooden shelves. The bicycle beside the tailor's shop will lose its caps of snow. But not yet. For a few more minutes, the town belongs to the quiet between night and morning. The guesthouse lantern is still burning. You open the door and step into the entrance hall. The tall clock continues its patient ticking. The tray for late travellers has been cleared, and in its place sits a covered plate with a note, for early returns. Beneath the cloth is a small piece of bread and a jar of pear preserve. You smile but leave them for later. The stairs creak softly as you climb to your room beneath the eaves. Inside, the stove holds one red coal. The stone bottle beneath the quilt is no longer hot, but the bed has kept its warmth. You remove your coat and place the packet of orange peel on the bedside table. The green card goes beside it. Its 2 tiny leaves are already fading back into the paper, as if the drawing has completed what it needed to say. You lie beneath the heavy quilt. Outside the round window, the town is becoming visible one roof at a time. You think of the greenhouse beneath the winter stars. You think of citrus trees dreaming of light, rain waiting for another root, and seeds that carry their possibilities without hurry. You think of the small bed of dark soil. Nothing needs to have risen there yet. Nothing needs to prove that the night was useful. The seed is beneath the earth. The greenhouse is keeping its temperature. Iona has entered the planting in her ledger and left the name blank. That is enough. The day will arrive whether you watch it or not. For now, you may allow your breathing to settle into its own quiet rhythm. You may feel the weight of the blankets, the support of the bed, and the comfortable warmth gathered around you. There is nowhere else you need to walk. No choice you need to make. No beginning you need to force into view. The town is waking very slowly. The greenhouse has closed its doors. And you can rest. Thank you for spending this quiet time with Moonlit Storykeeper. If you're still awake, you can subscribe for another story next week. For now, there is nothing more you need to do. Good night.